I was born into a life already written, one that came bound in rosaries and novenas, where the only truth was the one spoken from the pulpit or my mother's lips. But before the prayers, before the doctrine, there was the clay and bamboo. The house I grew up in wasn't built with bricks. It was built with mud, hope, and hands that had no blueprint. We were poor, but that word never quite captured it. We were limited. We lacked electricity. We had no television, only a small radio that sputtered voices like ghosts through the static. I was number 7 out of 8 children, 4 boys, 4 girls, a perfectly symmetrical chaos. The house was alive with noise, plates clinking, babies crying, chickens clucking outside the kitchen window. We bathed with water fetched from the river. We cooked over fire. And at night, we sat in silence, interrupted only by the occasional hymn or the faint hum of that little radio trying to hold the world together. I didn't choose that life. It was handed to me like a relic, sacred, untouchable, already shaped, and like any good son, I accepted it. I grew up in a Catholic home. Not the kind of Catholicism that floats softly over a household, but the kind that grounds it, walls it in, and breathes through its very structure. Religion wasn't something we practiced, it was something we lived. Mass wasn't optional. Prayer wasn't a request. Confession wasn't symbolic. It was how we cleaned our souls weekly, even if we didn't understand what dirt we carried. My mother, she was the moral compass, fierce, devoted, certain. Her words were law. Her emotions were doctrine. Her love was real, but it came wrapped in conditions she didn't invent, but ones she inherited too. She had only 6 months of formal schooling, but you wouldn't know it. She spoke with authority on heaven and hell, punishment and reward. Most of what she taught me was not open for debate. You obeyed, and in that obedience was salvation. My father was quieter. He didn't fight her dominance. I think he gave it to her without realizing it. He taught me a few things: how to walk in the world, how to tie a knot, how to stay out of trouble. But the moral scaffolding of my life, that was my mother's. I don't resent that. I only now understand how lopsided it was. From early on, I designed a life based on what I thought was expected of me. I wanted to be a medical doctor. I dreamed of marrying a stunning woman, brown skin, long black curls, curves like a mountain road. Someone into fitness, someone who could walk beside me, not be dragged behind me. We'd have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, Steve and Samantha. I had their names long before I had any real sense of who I was. We'd own a house, raise our children right, not with fear, not with silence, but with structure and understanding. Why did I want that? Because that was the blueprint. That was what a good Catholic boy should want. That's what I was taught would make me whole, honorable, saved. It wasn't until much later that I realized I didn't desire that life. I was imitating it. Looking back now, I see the cracks early. I see the moments when my body said something my brain refused to hear. I dated girls. I held their hands. I kissed them and waited for some kind of spark that never came. I kept thinking, maybe the next one. Maybe I just haven't met the right girl yet. I even told myself that love was something that would grow in time, like a seed. But inside, something else was growing too. A quiet truth. One I fought with every scripture I knew. And as I fought, I questioned everything I'd been told. Not out of rebellion, but out of survival. Was hell real? Was God angry? Was love a commandment or a discovery? These weren't just questions, they were battles. And at some point, around age 27, I realized I could no longer win the war between my mind and my body. I had to choose, and I did. I chose to rebuild. I didn't abandon the life I'd been given. I thanked it for what it taught me, but I walked away from it, because I had to discover who I was without the script. That rediscovery, it hurt. But it was the greatest act of love I've ever performed, for myself. And now, at 48, I look back and smile, not with regret, not with shame, but with pride, because I made it. I made it to me.